Hey everyone, welcome back to Lori's Boston Found, where thrifted is the new black. My name is Lori. Welcome back to my channel. This is a channel all about reselling. I buy used clothes, most of the time it's used clothes, and I resell them on an app called Poshmark, and I also sell on eBay, and sometimes I sell directly to my viewers right here from YouTube. Today I am doing a comparison what sold video. The first 2 weeks of March, I recorded where my sales were, and I shared that in a video with you. And I thought it'd be really interesting to compare the first 2 weeks of March to the last 2 weeks of March, because we've had this crazy thing happen in our world. Between the days of March 1st and March 14th, I think things were really starting to heat up in the United States, and there were more and more cases of the virus that is now keeping everyone at home and under quarantine. But people were still working and things were unsettled, but things weren't where they are now. So I thought it would be interesting to compare how my business did in the last 2 weeks of March, when everybody was under a shelter-in-place order, or most people were, compared to the first 2 weeks where there was more activity going on. People were still leaving their house, stores were still open, things were a little more normal than they are right now. Now we have our new normal. I thought it was worth looking into. I'm going to go over what my sales were the first 2 weeks of March, and then focus on my sales from the second 2 weeks of March, tell you what worked, what didn't work, the percentage of my sales that went down, and all that stuff. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if this is the type of content you would be interested in seeing. And I do want to say that I haven't let go of my Marie Kondo video. Thank you to everybody who watched that and supported me and commented on that video. That was a lot of fun. I do have phase 2 coming out this week, but I want to get this what sold video in because the other video isn't quite ready. So I figured I would do this and then come back to you later in the week with part 2. I am working on my new camera. If you did watch my last video, you'll see that my intro was a little blurry. I'm trying to mess around with the settings a little bit. The quality is unbelievably good. However, I think it picks up on a few more wrinkles than I would like. So I'm getting used to this new way of filming, because up until this point, I've primarily been filming on my iPhone, but I think you can really see a difference in the quality. So I hope you enjoy it. If you have any tips on the Canon EOS M50, please leave them below. I have it on auto settings, so I'm hoping that I'm not like getting blurry. I'm trying to stay in one spot so I stay clear. Between the days of March 1st and March 14th, my sales were $1,699. That was the first 2 weeks. The second 2 weeks of March, from March 15th to March 31st, my sales were $880. So yes, my sales basically were slashed in half from from where they were the first half of the month to the second half of the month. But a couple things I wanted to talk about. If you remember, I had run a big sale at the end of February, and I continued it on to March 1st. And I think I made upwards of like $400, $450 on March 1st. So that really boosted my sales for those first 2 weeks of March. But even without that, even if you took that away, I would still be at around $1,300. And $880 is far less for the second half. So yeah, my sales dipped by almost 50% when comparing the two. But I will say this first week in April was better. I feel like things are starting to pick up. People are getting used to kind of their new normal. And I just think that people are stuck at home. And I myself am doing a ton more online shopping than I do typically. So I think being in e-commerce right now is kind of a good place to be if you had to pick something during this pandemic. $880 in sales. My average selling price I was really happy about, because it stayed the course. Typically it's around $30. It was $28.39. And based on the amount of offers I was sending during those last 2 weeks, I would have guessed that my average selling price was around $22. But as everything washed out, that's where I landed. So I was really happy with that. I did send out a lot of offers to likers, which I typically do, but I was much more aggressive with my pricing. So instead of maybe sending a 20% offer on a $35 item which is something I would typically do. Maybe right off the bat, I'm offering 30%, or I'm creating bundles for people and sending like 40% offers. Like I was just basically a lot more aggressive with my offers to likers. I had 31 sales. I did sell 3 bundles, and the total amount of pieces, so that included the 3 bundles, was 36 items that I sold. On those 31 sales that I made, 9 of those sales included discounted shipping for the $2.11. So I do encourage you to send offers to likers. People do it different ways. Sometimes I feel like I do it too much. And I think a lot of people who shop my closet regularly pretty much know that I'm going to send an offer. So sometimes maybe they wait a little longer. I don't think it's a bad idea to let some of your likes build up before you send an offer, so that when you do send an offer, like say you have 10 likes on something, so when you send an offer, it's going to 10 people, and each individual receiving your offer knows that it's going to 9 other people. So there's some sense of urgency maybe to purchase, because where I send them out all the time, sometimes it's just being sent to like 1 or 2 people. So I don't know if that necessarily works in my favor, but that's kind of what I've been doing lately. For the entire month of March, my sales were $2,579 in total. Compared to February, which, true disclosure, because I had that big sale and I had a huge push to list in the month of February, my sales were up. I had the best sales I've ever had on Poshmark, and my sales in the month of February were $4,505. So we're looking at a drop of almost a $2,000 drop. Somebody had asked me, or it came up on one of my videos, where my sales were at, or in my podcast or something. And I think I said that my sales were down 70 to 75%. I think that was like at the height of the fear and the height of everything felt like it was kind of frozen in time. And this is also why I really think it's important to look at your numbers, because sometimes you feel like your business is doing one thing, and you're doing that based off of feelings and emotion. And then when I actually looked at my numbers, yes, my numbers were definitely down, but they weren't down 75%. So if you compare last month to this month, I was down over like more around like 45% overall. So just be careful. I know for me, I can be pretty emotional sometimes, and I'll be like, sales are terrible, I'm down 75%. And I just throw that number out there. But when I looked, actually, it wasn't that bad. That's just my scenario. I don't know. Comment below. Let me know, like, if you have a percentage, like, did your sales like fall off the face of the earth? Are they starting to come back? Are you getting creative with your selling strategies? I'd love to hear all that. I'm going to go through my highest price sales, the categories that did well, the brands that I sold at least 2 of, which I don't have many, my By Felicia section, items I was super happy to get rid of. And yeah, I think that will do it for my video. And then I'm going to talk about a promotion that I'm doing at the end of the video. Interestingly enough, let's start with highest sales first. Typically, I start my highest sales at what sold for over $50. And sometimes I have many items that sell between like $50 and $55. So sometimes I'll even bump it up for the sake of my videos and say, okay, let's do what sold over $55. And I'll have like 5 to 7 items that sold above $55. If that were my standard for this month, I would have only sold 1 item for the second part of March. So we're not talking about the first couple weeks, because I did pretty well those first 2 weeks. But the second part of March, the last 2 weeks, I sold, my highest priced sale was a pair, and this doesn't include bundles, so just on an individual item, was a pair of these Nike Air Force suede sneakers. So these sold for $65. And I've been sitting on these for a little bit. And I bought them only because when I was at Savers one day, the gentleman who was rolling out new shoes, so I kept going over to his cart and saying, do you mind if I stock your cart? And he's always really nice. So I was looking at shoes, and then he handed me these Air Force suede sneakers. And he's like, these are really good. And they were priced at $19.99. And I was like, ooh, I usually don't pay that much for sneakers, but I'm not a sneakerhead. I don't really know much about sneakers, but I know that Air Force ones can be good, and like Jordans and certain things. So I'm like, let me take a chance on them. I think I ran the comps really quickly. I think I only had 20% coupon on those, so they were relatively expensive. So I've been holding out a little bit on these. I think I had them priced at 100, and then I lowered the price to 85 or whatever, and then I got a $65 offer. So I did accept that in a hurry, especially given the circumstances around what we're all dealing with right now in reselling. And the second item that was the highest selling price for me didn't even get to $50, but I sold this Barefoot Dreams white cardigan sweater. And Barefoot Dreams is consistently one of my best selling products. I have 100% sell-through rate. I don't think I have a single Barefoot Dreams item left in my closet. Every time I get one, I sell them. Some people can't move them, but I actually love the Barefoot Dreams brand, especially these cardigans. And this one sat a little bit longer than, but by that, maybe a month and a half, 2 months at the most. And I think maybe because it was white or it was a little more short-waisted, it's not that long, loungy, typical Barefoot Dreams sweater, but nonetheless, it sold, and I was very happy about that it sold for $48. I think I paid $9, $8 or $9 at a consignment store for this piece. Okay, let's move on to brands. I found my brands kind of interesting for the second 2 weeks of March. The two brands that I sold multiples of, and I sold only 2 items from each of these brands, but one was American Eagle Outfitters, and the second brand was Nike. So I sold from American Eagle this maxi dress, which I thought was super cute. I think I picked this up at the bins. I think that's usually the only place I would pick up an American Eagle dress, but I loved it because it had beautiful colors in it, and it was an extra large, so a great size. And I just really thought this was a pretty dress with spring around the corner. So I was happy that sold. And then I also sold these American Eagle jeggings, which I do like to pick up American Eagle jeggings. In general, their denim sells pretty well, and that is something that I do like to pick up when I'm at the bins. I sold like one Lululemon and one Athleta and some of those typical, like one Anthropology brand, but I had a lot of one-off sales, but then I think that was just one of the ones that I actually sold 2 pieces from. And then also the Nike Air Force sneakers that I showed you, and then the second item from Nike that sold, and I believe these sold for $18, were just the... Okay, so my battery just died. The battery life is not as long on these cameras as they are on my iPhone, and I have to get into the habit of switching them, so I had to set everything back up. So I hope I'm not blurry. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna get this. So as I was saying, those dry fit shorts sold for $18. One of the things I wanted to share were what categories were selling for me. I don't always include this in my what sold video, but I wanted to mention it this month. So for the last 2 weeks of March, I sold 9 tops and I sold 7 pairs of shoes. So a combination of boots, sneakers, and shoes. But those are my top 2 selling categories, which I think is pretty consistent. I do well with tops and shoes both. So some of those tops were sweatshirts, some are blouses, t-shirts, but I don't think that included sweaters. It was just straight up tops. Comment below, what are your best selling categories? Tops are much more fun for me to photograph. I feel like I force myself to photograph pants, but they're my least favorite thing to photograph, but they can be a great return sometimes. Let's move on to by Felicia. These are the things that, those items, you're just like, please go away. And they could be the greatest item ever sourced, but for whatever reason, they are just sitting in your closet. This became a by Felicia because of my pricing. It was this beautiful piece that I priced too high, and it sat forever, had an enormous amount of likes on it. It's this really beautiful scarf. It's called Errata Silent Journey is the brand, and it is a brand that is sold at Anthropology, and the comps on these scarves were really good. So I don't know if they were just from a while back or if those people just got lucky or if they were new with tags, but I priced this at $68 when it was first out of the gate. And it is a beautiful scarf, but in the end, it ended up selling for $30, and it came through on an offer, and I was like, yes, somebody wants to buy this. So I accepted, and I have been sending offers out on this scarf forever. I was really, really excited when that sold. My other by Felicia. I bought this next item at an estate sale, and I was thrilled when I found it. I was there day 2 of the estate sale, half hour before they were closing. It's one of my best estate sales to date. But I found this Trina Turk yellow shift dress. Really pretty, sleeveless. I just loved it. I thought it was so cute. And when I found it, I thought it was going to be such a great hit. I think I got it last May. Sat in my closet for a very long time, probably started this somewhere in the 70s, if I'm being honest. And I ended up getting an offer for $25. And it was also one of those days where I didn't have any sales and I just needed a sale. And I was like, yes, $25, take it. Again, 2 beautiful quality pieces that just were in my closet too long. I'm very picky now with Trina Turk. I do like her stuff. It's more of a brighter color palette than I personally love for myself, but I feel like it's a great summer brand, and she does have great bathing suits. So I will definitely keep my eye open for her stuff, but I'm definitely more selective. Lulu needs to go out. It's kind of strange doing my what sold videos with just 2 weeks of information. It feels kind of empty to me, but it won't be as long, so that's a good thing. So I only have those 2 by Felicias. Those were the 2 that, while they were really good brands, I was just super excited for those to go because they took forever. I had 2 days this month that were sale-less, which means I had no sales on March 26th and March 27th, which I think is interesting. And then on the 25th, I had 2 sales, and on the 28th, I had 3 sales. But yeah, those 2 in between, nothing. Also this month, I did sell quite a few handbags because I did a video, if you want to check back, it's back about 2 or 3 videos where I did a haul of handbags from either my own personal collection or just bags that I was getting ready to pull and put on consignment, or items that I just hadn't listed. So I wanted to do a haul of them and then give my viewers an opportunity to purchase before I listed them on Poshmark. So I did end up moving some handbags this month. And actually, that was probably one of my best categories as well. Let me count and see, because that might be right up there this month with tops and shoes, which handbags typically are not. But I sold an LLB hanging bag, like a travel bag, Vera Bradley black quilted crossbody bag. I sold a hobo bag. It was really beat up, but a really awesome style. That sold for $35, I believe, to a viewer, so thank you. Tignanello, I hate when I pronounce things wrong. Tignanello. This is a red leather bag, and I didn't feature it in my video, but it's one that I've had for a while. That should actually be a by Felicia because I've had it for a very long time. That sold for $30 on March 24th. I was really happy about that. Yeah, so it looks like 4 or 5 of these bags sold. So that was a really good thing. Oh, I want to talk a little bit about the bundles that I sold. I had this unique bundle sale that I wanted to talk about. And the reason I want to share it with you is because it was an instance where I had to be a little bit flexible about the way I marketed the bundle. I have a friend whose husband is an electrician, and sometimes the owners of the house like give him things, and then he comes home with them, and then my friend either wants them or doesn't. So she got this slew of size 4.5 leather shoes, really mint condition, but a very, very little women's foot. And there were a ton of them. And there were like 2 Stuart Weitzmans in there, but most of them were naturalizer. And most of them were from like the 80s or 90s. That's what they looked like to me. And they were also new in box. So really beautiful, beautiful condition, if not new in box. 90% of them were new in box. So I decided to take them out of the box and market them together. It's not a brand that I was really excited to sell. I tried to bring a couple to a consignment store and they rejected them. I have a couple to go into a box to thread up. I think I'm sending the Stuart Weitzmans because that will that will qualify as a luxe item in my thread up bag. I was left with the items that I'm showing in this picture, and I wanted to be creative with my marketing on this because I don't really think that like Naturalizer is like a super hip brand, but I wanted to make my pictures look super hip. So I did them in the circle, and I marketed this for $99 for, I think there's 5 pairs of shoes in this photo. So it was for the bundle, but I think somewhere in my description I said, you know, this is a bundle for 5 pairs of Naturalizer shoes. They were new in box, but they won't be shipped with the box. I don't even know how much detail I got into it on my description. Somebody messaged me and she's like, I like the 2 pairs of black shoes and the brown shoes, but she didn't want like the linen looking ones or the other pair. She's like, would you be willing to sell those? So when she first liked them, I think I sent her an offer for $69. I had them listed for $99. So I sent her an offer for that. So these were all given to me. So they were all free inventory. My friend couldn't use them. She's like a size 5. They were too small. They weren't her style. So she gave them to me. That's why I wasn't like too, you know, I wasn't going to be really crazy about the pricing on these. So I thought $99 for 5 pairs of brand new shoes, a good price. Sent out the offer for $69. She messaged me separately in a bundle and said, would you be willing to sell these 3 items? I said, absolutely. She's like, could you still include the discounted shipping? I said, yes. She's like, what price sounds good? I said, how about $49 for 3 pairs? She said, yes. So that was a bundle sale for $49 with discounted shipping. And I don't know how else these shoes would have sold. I feel like they would have sat for a very, very long time. These weren't listed very long. And so $49 to sell those 3 pairs of shoes. The only thing now is I need to either remarket the other ones and take individual pictures of them or send them off to ThreadUp or decide what I want to do with them. So I do need to relist this listing now that it is down 3 pairs and I can't really do the picture of the circle because it just wouldn't look right. Other bundle sale that I sold was just a Free People button-down shirt that I've had for some time, and this alternative crop sweatshirt. I used to pick up this brand Alternative, but it sits for quite some time for me, so now it's a brand that I will typically pass on. I have a nice athleisure line of clothing that is really cute, but for whatever reason, it just sits for a while. So maybe if I found a really cute style at the bins, I would still pick it up, but it's something I would definitely pass on in the regular thrift store. But that sold alongside the Free People shirt, and that bundle sold for $32. So the last bundle that I sold was a 2-piece bundle, and I believe this sold to a viewer as well, so thank you. The 2 items that sold were, in my opinion, one high-end item and one low-end item. And this is why I like to keep low-end items in my store. The low-end item that sold as part of this bundle was an Old Navy floral blouse, really cute, but something I picked up at the bins, very light, that probably cost about $1.25. I think I marked it for $24, knowing full well I'd probably sell it around $15. And then I had this cool button-down, fleece-lined shirt, like a heavy shirt. I had this price very high when I first got it, but I picked it up in the summer, so I knew it was going to sit for a while. This is one of those pieces that I received like a $30 or $45 offer on very early on and countered and never sold it and ended up selling it for less. So this is what happens sometimes when you choose to sit on items. Sometimes it pays off and sometimes you end up losing a little bit of your profit because it's not worth, you know, you've had it for so long, it's slowly becoming a stale item. So somebody put this in a bundle and they sent me a $40 offer, which was a little bit less than I wanted to accept. She made me an offer on the button-down shirt, and then she wanted to add the blouse to the offer, to the bundle. So I canceled the original order, created a bundle, added the blouse, sent her the price, and then she countered with a $40 offer. And she later, so I accepted, but I was a little shocked that it came back so low for $40 for the 2 items. And then she later came back and said, I'm so sorry that I even sent you an offer. It's kind of like an automatic reflex when I get an offer. So it was funny, but she was somebody who watched my videos and I was happy that she got a good deal. But it would have been harder on me if I had sold that cool shirt for less of a price if it wasn't being bundled with like an Old Navy shirt that ended up being a good profit for me. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not explaining this very well. I love bundling highs and lows together. I love putting in those items that are very low cost of goods that are actually fashionable and trendy and cute, but they're just not a high-end brand, but they're great for bundles. I say this all the time. I think that certain brands, you don't need to pass on them as long as you have some other desirable brands in your closet that will draw people to your closet and get people purchasing things. It's great to have some H&M pieces, some Old Navy pieces. Like I do think that people know these brands and know their fit, and sometimes it works out like this. So that's great. It's not like I'm flooding my closet with Old Navy items, because I'm not, but I will definitely pick up an Old Navy piece if it's cute. This is a very long explanation of why I was excited about that bundle selling together. All right, I am struggling today with my words. I think I'm gonna call it a day. That is it on my sales. Overall, definitely a dip. But I'm hopeful for going into the next couple weeks. I think that sales have been up and I'm happy about that. The promotion that I wanted to talk about to anybody who has considered shopping in my closet. So in the month of April, from April 1st to April 30th, when we are all on a shelter-in-place order from the president, I am going to be donating $2 from every single sale to the Boston Resiliency Fund. And for every bundle that sells, I'm going to donate $5. They have shifted their efforts to supporting patients suffering from COVID-19 and also working with people on the front lines like first responders and nurses and essential workers. They also help to bring technology into schools and get them into the hands of children who don't have access to technology while they're not in school. And they're just a great organization. 100% of their proceeds go to the cause, which I really liked. And it was a local effort. So this is what I decided I wanted to get behind. Being locked in the house, I feel like I can't volunteer anywhere. There's not many opportunities that I feel really safe about getting out to do. So I thought a financial contribution would be the way to go. I think I'm over $20 already in my donations, and I'm hoping to hit $300 by the end of April. So it's a little bit of a lofty goal, but if I sell enough, I think we can do it. So if there was ever a time that you were considering shopping my closet, this would be a great time to do so. One of the nice things about this promotion is I'm still offering some great pricing in my closet, and this is just an added bonus. And I do have like an advertisement, like a sale in my Poshmark closet, and I keep trying to share it to the top of my closet. And when anybody makes a purchase and contributes to the sale, they don't always know when they're buying from me that a portion of their sale is going to go to the Boston Resiliency Fund. But when they do make a purchase, I'm going to mention their closet in the ad so that they do know that some of their money went towards a good cause. So anyway, I wanted to end with that. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to phase 2 of my Marie Kondo video coming out this week. I hope everyone's doing great and thinking of ways to be creative with their business. I am going to be on Flip the Script this week with Denali. If you listen to El Dujo's podcast, I will be her guest, and I'm very excited about that. So that will be out tomorrow on April 6th. If you want to go over there and give it a listen, say hi to Denali, and you can go ahead and check out her channel. I will link it below. And I just want to thank everybody for your continued support of my channel, and I want you all to have a great day. Thanks everyone. Take care. Bye.